Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry it's been a minute. It's just been a busy time of year, and I've actually made a lot of projects on the bike, just not really had the opportunity to record it. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of progress, but let's start with the big stuff. So I painted the tank after welding a patch to make it now a screw top. I don't know if you remember, but I didn't have the key to the flap, the gas flap, so I had to take that out. But what I actually ended up doing was welding. You can kind of see the outline of it in the video. I welded a piece of steel in place on the tank like that, and then I used some Bondo to kind of smooth it out. It's not perfect. It's good from afar, but far from good. And then I use this paint that I actually really love. It's actually kind of color shift paint. I don't know if you can see where the light catches it. It's actually a very deep green, but otherwise looks like a very dark purple. And it's got a cool like metal flake feature to it. It kind of shifts with the light. I really like this. And I'm pretty pleased with the way the tank turned out. So this is actually still tape on it, still taped up right there. But I turned it into a screw top so I could get it out of it, obviously, because I was missing the flap. But yeah, not too pleased, not too bad with that. I'm gonna replace the petcocks. Both leaked like crazy. They had all the gaskets were worn out on both sides. And a gasket rebuild kit was like $35 a side. So rather than do that, I actually got replacement petcocks for that. Let me kind of show you real quick. This is where a lot of the parts are waiting here. So I got brand new replacement petcocks for either side that are designed for this particular application. So there's two new ones for that. I'm really stoked about this. My favorite part that's about to go on the bike. Check out these dope air filters I got. Really, really excited about this if I can get it out. There we go. So I thought that was cool. Just really neat, kind of unique air filters like this. Usually I do pod filters on all the builds that I do, but I really liked this. Something about it kind of, I don't know, it really pops. And so those are going to go on. Those are 54 mils to match the standard gauge of the carbs. So here's the carbs here. Got them clean. I'm actually going to paint the tops and the bottoms. That's why they're taped off like so. I got a mount for the license plate. This is an old one from one of my first bikes. You can tell it's way outdated here. And then these two here are license plate lights that are built in. This is going to be a rear axle license plate mount. In the state of Texas, obviously, most states, I think, you have to run lights on it. So that's what these are for. And that'll go on the left side of the bike. Here's the skateboard deck. That's going to actually be the mount for most of the electronics. It'll be tucked under the seat. What else? So let me come back over here to the bike itself. This is the rear wheel. The rear tire was just destroyed. So I've actually spent a lot of time. This is after I have cleaned the rear wheel like 10 times and gone over it with a wire brush about 3 times. I'm actually going to repaint it, and what I'll do is paint it black and then leave the machine surfaces exposed like that. So same as it was, but bringing it back up to speed. And I actually replaced the tire because the tire was absolutely shot. Here's the sticker for it here too. It's a fresh Dunlap. I like running, like tires are one of the areas where I really will not scrimp on a bike just because, well, I mean, it's the most important piece of the bike. You don't have good tires, you die. So anyway, I got these. The front tire is good for now, not great, but actually still in pretty good condition. I'm gonna leave it for now, get the bike running, and then replace it as well. I'm trying to do this whole thing on a shoestring budget. So anyway, so there's that. I was able to resurface the rear brake disc. So it kind of hits the light odd, but you can see where it's been machined. I kind of ground it down like this. I'm going to repaint the center as it would have been in black, and then hit it a little bit further like this with a finer grit to kind of resurface it. It's still in very good shape. It's still got a lot of meat on it. So I'm going to reuse that. I will not, however, be using the rear pads. So I just took these off. You can see there's not a whole lot of meat still left on these bad boys, and they've been sitting for a while. There's a lot of rust on there, so I'm gonna have to take more of that surface off. So for the price, I think it's like 30 bucks for a pair. I'm just gonna replace them. Once again, tires are important, brakes are uber important as well. So losing the pads, but keeping the discs. I repainted the back end, so you can tell it kind of looks refreshed. So the swing arm, I repainted. These are the new shocks I put in place. The tail I got painted, which I was really pleased about. It pops. I'm using a gloss black on the frame and then a flat black on a lot of the additional parts. So the top of the engine, the valve cover and stuff like that, that'll all be flat black. This is a gloss black, but I'm really pleased how that turned out. I actually have a few touch-up spots I gotta do with a finer brush, but that's what it looks like. I only painted so far because I'm gonna put a bit of Bondo in here too to kind of smooth that out. But I was quite pleased, and just a really clean look, I think. I'm really stoked about that. I think you've probably seen everything else on here. It looks like it's in a million pieces, but it's actually pretty good. What I need to do now, the next step for this part, is I'm actually going to lay the skateboard in place underneath and mount it. I'm going to use these rubber mounting holes here, like this, mount it in there, and then I'm going to start to put different wires above it in the space between the top of the skateboard and the bottom of the seat. So I'm going to start mounting that stuff in there. I will be hitting the rest of the body piece by piece with paint. So the body is actually unified in a single gloss black. But yeah, you can see I've actually got these marked off. So I've got all of the hot wires grouped together, all of the cold wires grouped together, because what I'm going to do, I pulled it apart, but I've got two bus bars here, hot and cold. And I'm going to get a new grounding strap, because this one is, it looks like it's 40 years old. So I'm going to get a new grounding strap, but I'm going to mount these to the skateboard so that all of the hot and cold lines can run to where they need to. But yeah, there's that. And then I just have to, I'm going to put the carburetors back on. I will, before I go to fire it up, I think, take the valve cover off and paint it, because this house paint blue has got to go, man. It's killing me here. But yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to at least a first startup. It wants to turn. I mean, if you hit the, you saw in the previous videos, if you hit it, she tries to turn over. She's ready for some fuel and some fire. So I'm excited about that. I did also put a little voltmeter here on the clamp, on the handlebar clamp, just so I can keep an eye on the battery, because this is an older battery and I want to make sure I got enough juice for it and everything. So yeah, so that's the update, friends. As always, really appreciate the support and all the tips and comments you give. So keep following this. What I'll do is try and post a little bit more frequently, so as we approach the end of the build, you'll see as the pieces come together. But yeah, and then after this, once this is done, actually, we're going to go move back to the Triumph and get that sucker running and on the road. I just have a bit of wiring to do. I know it looks like a million pieces once again, but the wiring is the next big step. And then the Camaro in the background just needs a few pieces on the front suspension for steering, and then the exhaust. So my goal is to have all three of these ready for summer. I know it's a lofty goal and it's most likely never going to happen, but I'm going to commit to that just so we can, I don't know, it's important to have lofty goals, right? But anyway, guys, thanks so much for your support, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon.